I grew up in the desert. I mean, always hot, always dry. But as I got older and I moved away from home and I would come back for visits every couple of months, things started shifting. I mean, obviously got hotter. Now it's so hot that people are moving away, or because they can't move for economic reasons, they're getting sick and they're finding ways to keep themselves cool. It's green now. I grew up in a very brown place, but now it's green, and of course you can say that's beautiful, but things are changing. Things are not growing in the same way that they used to grow, and other invasive plants are taking over, so it's also changing our landscape completely. And I think it wasn't until I started working in the cultural sector in more of the policy area that I saw, okay, there's something that we can do, and it's essential to have the conversations about culture at the core of that change. I mean, the way people act, the way people live, the way people want to make a change together is completely essential to this conversation around the climate emergency, because it's happening very rapidly and people are needing to adjust to these changes.
My grandparents, they were living in Brittany, in the west of the France, and it's always rainy. And when I was a kid, I used to go there at the farm. Someday, it was the first time in the history of Brittany, I have been 20 days without any rain, and it was so difficult for them because they don't have any irrigation system, because they have always rain. So maybe it was the first time in my life that I thought, okay, that's really happening, and it was maybe 20 years ago.
I was 13 years old when I decided to protect animals and plants, because I felt that already at that time, it was like more than 30 years ago, that they are under pressure. So I would become a biologist. But after that, when I graduated as a biologist, I went to work for an international NGO, a nature conservation lobbying one, based in Budapest, but it is a network of NGOs conserving biodiversity from Central and Eastern Europe. And when I started to work there in 2007, the president of the organization gave several lectures and trainings why it's not enough to conserve animals and plants. We have to really change our attitude and the way we live and the whole economic and societal system. So these were the two turning points in my life.
I think it began when I was a child. It was weird to see how adults behave with nature. All children think, even more today, that we have a strange way of taking care of the planet and climate. I guess I adapted myself and I tried not to think about it too much. Life goes on. I had to rediscover that feeling when I became a mom myself, and I could realize that my child was wondering like the same questions. Yeah, and that was the second time I realized.
I don't think I since I started to work in the green movement already, to protect nature, so it was completely natural that then you start to think about climate and the climate crisis. And it started more than 20 years ago that I started to work with the Greens. So that's how it developed, and then I started to study this at university, and then I became a researcher. So I did research on this. So all my work was concentrating as a scientist and as an activist, civil society organizations I worked for, and the universities I worked for. I was teaching, doing research and protesting in the streets at the same time. Slowly developed, and I became more and more radical when I saw that nothing really happens, not enough changes is happening. Then it radicalizes me that okay, then we should do more and more.